the members of group who are going to present you our mini project, which is on Travel Assistant web app. This app gives an overview to the tourist or to the main or other people about the weather, reviews, tourist attractions, and many other restaurants. Over to you.
So now coming to the key features, the first feature is that it displays the weather for the requested city. Next, it will display user reviews for the requested city and allows them to submit the new reviews. Then it will also display popular restaurants for the requested city, popular tourist attractions for the requested city, and allow user access and management. Now, coming to the technologies used, we have used Flask. So, Flask is a lightweight and flexible workframe for Python that allows developers to build web applications quickly and easily. It's a part of micro framework category, which means that it's going to provide the tools which are required for development, specifically web development, but doesn't enforce specific tools or libraries, which gives the developers the freedom to choose. Next, we have used Firebase. So it is a cloud-based platform which is developed by Google. It provides a suite of tools and services for building and managing web and mobile applications. It simplifies backend development and offers ready-to-use features. Next to Ayush.
Coming to API, an API is a set of rules and protocols that allows different software applications to communicate with each other. It acts as an intermediary, enabling one application to request data or services from another without needing to understand how the world other applications implement. We have used an Open Weather Map API. Weather API is a versatile tool for accessing real-time weather data and forecasts. It provides features such as current weather updates, daily forecasts, and air pollution data with its global coverage of over 2 lakh cities and easy integration through simple HTTP requests. It is scalable, user-friendly, and supports diverse use cases with its extensive data offerings. As you can see, we can have the temperature over here and the humidity percentage, wind speed, minimum and maximum temperature, also the visibility and all. Next, coming to the another API called GeoPify. GeoPify is a location-based API platform that provides geocoding and mapping services to developers. It enables the integration of geographic data and location intelligence into applications. GeoPify is particularly useful in applications like travel apps, logistics, real estate platforms, and any service requiring location-based functionality. As you can see, there are local restaurants over here and tourist attractions. Uh, you can get the location and the name of the restaurant, including the number, the website. Also, for the tourist attractions, you can get the location and the website of it. Further to Guru.
Moving on with the workflow diagram, we have three main components describing our mini project. The first one would be the user interactions, where the user registration and login details are handled. The core functions, where the trip creation and storage happens, and the data retrieval for recommendations. The third one would be the third-party API integrations, such as Google Maps and other APIs that were previously mentioned by Ayush. Moving on, I'll give a brief walkthrough around the code base of our mini project. So I'll be shifting the screen to my VS Code. Starting with a brief introduction about the code base of our mini project Travel Assistant web app. We have used Python with Flask web framework to develop this mini project. The basic building block of a Flask web app would be the run.py, which is kind of a basic building block where we define the host, the port, and any certificates that we define, which run as a main application. And we can categorize this code base into three major parts, which is one is auth, one is roots, and the other one is utils. And if you can observe, there is another folder called as templates, which consists all the HTML and the design uh, code, which is rendered on a web browser. And moving on with the auth.py, basically we have used the Google Cloud Firestore to store the password, and we basically generate a hash of a user inputted password and store it in our database. So basically, we handle each scenario where if the token is missing or the token is being written into our env file, we use the HS256 algorithm to hash the password or the secret key and store it in the .env file. So the app.route indicates the API endpoint, which is pointing to this particular function, which gets triggered when a user clicks on register. Most of the UI stuff will be covered by Bradley in the upcoming timeline. So moving on with the routes, we basically have four major routes. One is the login, one is the register page, and the other one is to fetch the weather and reviews of a particular city. So city can be inputted from the UI screen, which generates a URL to invoke our internal API and fetch the weather data corresponding to that city. Moving on to the utils, we basically handle the rating from 1 to 5 stars, ignoring any float values. So over to Mehat.
So now speaking of the benefits, so there are multiple benefits for the users. To begin with, it simplifies the trip planning and organizes very easily the trips for the users. Then we have tailored offers, tailored travel insights. Next, it also provides a unified platform for multiple travel related tasks. Okay, next we have the challenges and solutions. So the challenges which we faced were that API rate limitations. Next, the database optimization for large user bases and ensuring mobile responsiveness. The solutions could be that we could improve caching mechanisms and perform regular testing and also implement responsive frameworks like Bootstrap. Okay, now coming to future enhancement, the first would be social media integration, which refers to share itineraries and travel plans. Then we can have AI powered recommendations, which would enhance the personalization with the help of machine learning. And then we could go in the offline mode, which would access itinerary and navigation without internet. Over to Brad now.
I'm now going to take us through a live demo of our application. We've already enabled our virtual environment, which contains all the necessary packages to run the application. So we're going to start by running our application with HTTPS enabled, which we do by running the run.py file in our repository, and this will create the app. And you can see it's given us these URLs, so we can click this top one to open it up in the browser. And first I'll demonstrate our user authentication system. So we can click register, type in an email and a password. You'll see successful registration. And as you can see in the terminal, this sends a secure post request to our authentication endpoint, storing the encrypted credentials in our Firestore database. So we can also log in using these credentials. And we can see similar results from our login attempt. So now we can search for a city in our Travel Assistant application. We'll use London here. So when I enter London, the application makes several API calls in sequence, as you can see here. You can see in the terminal, first the weather API call, then it has our places API for restaurants, and our attractions API for tourist attractions, as well as our reviews here. So looking at the results, here's our weather card, showing the current conditions from the Open Weather Map API for London. Below we have local restaurants, which we use GeoAppify's Places API to generate this with all the relevant information, and this is sorted by popularity, so it's the top 5 most popular restaurants within a 5-kilometer radius of the city. And then similarly we have popular tourist attractions, which also uses the GeoAppify Places API and has the same organization. And finally, the review system. Here are some existing reviews that are already stored in our Firestore database. As an authenticated user, I can now add a new review. We could give it a negative review and say, too cold. Submit the review. So watch the terminal as this post request is sent securely to our API endpoint. It will now regenerate the website, and we should see our new review added to the top of the reviews card here, like so. And that is the main functionality of our application.
Okay, so for the final conclusion, we would like to say that the Travel Assistant web app, it simplifies travel planning by combining advanced features with a user-friendly interface. It is a very practical tool which will help for both casual and frequent travelers. Thank you.